Welcome back to News Sources. Meanwhile, arriving at that single candidate will be NASA's big headache yet. Talk around political circles had grown over the weekend that CORD co-principal Kalonzo Musoka was readying himself to go it alone and thereby forcing a runoff. Well, the former vice president has come out fighting those claims, saying is he not interested in living. He's not interested fighting it out outside NASA, and is not going anywhere. He's staying put. Listening to the former vice president.
I am in NASA to stay, and no attempt at ridiculing, at speculation by anybody from any quarters will derail us from staying in NASA and going for the highest bid, and that is the office of the president, being the flag bearer of NASA.
I mean, Smart, why can't we just trust Kalonzo Musoka for once? Why?
I don't know. I think the political circles, I mean, the previous program that we were on, former member of Parliament Kalonzo was on, and he said in no uncertain terms that Kalonzo Musoka appears to be on his way out because of his body language. If you are keen following these things, he has had issues around the politicians in Cumberland who have asked him if he's going to leave, he'll have to leave alone, and Wiper will stay in CORD. So clearly there's a political contestation that is happening, I think, around Wiper and around Eastern Province, and Kalonzo is trying to find his soul in all these issues.
Rosal, has this got anything to do with the second position, running mate position, assuming maybe the first slot is already taken by someone else?
I don't see it that way. Remember, these people just formed NASA. The anxiety is very high among Kenyans. People want to know who will be the flag bearer, who will be the running mate, who will go for other positions. So this is a time that the propaganda will be all there. Everybody will be thinking, I'm the best. The other one is not the best. So, and you heard Kalonzo saying himself that I have not decided to go out of NASA. I will square it in NASA, and I believe I'm the best. Obviously, all the others will also say we are the best. I don't think we'll get any of the principals coming out and saying, I don't think I'm the best, and I will back another person. Because remember, all these people are coming in with their supporters. The pressure is also from their supporters. So for them to stay on with their supporters, they also must hold in until the last minute when the committee will come up with a deliberation on how they will settle on one of them. But remember, this is not the first time we are hearing about Kalonzo bolting out. It's been there since 2013. So it is time for him to prove that he's no longer watermelon.
Kalonzo, Danish, Kalonzo said it. I said, I'm not leaving this party. I've been around, I've been in CORD, I've worked with you, and in fact, he's on record saying that he's willing to become a sweeper in State House than join Jubilee. Why can't people just let the man be?
I think for me, my main problem with NASA is the ideology. And there's a whole sense of superiority that a few principals have, that if it's not them, then nobody else can ever become president. And I think that's a problem, because the moment you join a partnership where one seems to be superior than the other, then of course you're trying to say that this person, we don't need him really, and therefore you begin to think of other options. I think it is important for the CORD coalition and the entire NASA brigade to begin to behave like everybody in that party can become president. I don't like it when Kalonzo is played like a second fiddle, or Mudavadi cannot, or only one person can. I think Kalonzo has, what he has done is very brave of him to try to show people that he has options, by the way, and I'm only stuck in that.
You really want to say something?
Dennis,
yes.
You are a human being. You don't need to keep convincing us that you're a human being. We can see. And what Kalonzo is doing is convincing us otherwise. We know that Kalonzo, his body language, his everything, is not in NASA or CORD, because we know the people of Kabaland. As you can see, even Madereo Chap is picking up very well. Those people are determined to join us in Jubilee because they cannot afford any more time being in the cold, lying on Tarmac Road, demonstrating every day. They are ready to join Jubilee, and you are telling them that they are welcome. They don't need to come with Kalonzo. We are welcoming every other person within Jubilee to come so that we build our house together.
Nindi, I think for the sake of this show, let's not give sweeping statements. Maendeleo Chap only, is a movement that was formed the other day. It hasn't won any elective seat so far. So, okay, who is the candidate of Mandela Church?
No one.
While I
Let's
agree-
continue.
So there's no way you can now say, oh, Mandela Church was joining Jubilee as if they have seats. Alfred Mutua is a governor who won in the name of God and Wiper. So there's no way you can tell us MCC, whatever the name it is, has nothing and has nobody. And it's just a wind that will soon die out, hopefully.
In fact, we refuse to discuss Mandela Chap today, just for that very simple reason. Well, let's make it a bit serious. And with only 8 days to go for the mass voter registration, both CORD and Jubilee strongholds have recorded poor turnout. At the start of the exercise, IEBC was bullish, wanting to register about 6 million new voters. Reality, however, is dawning on everyone, including the political class. New voters aren't just interested in this voting business, it appears, Dennis.
You can't say it, because I think the numbers have gone up to 2 million today. The latest
We're
figures.
looking for 6 million.
Okay, fine. It's a good sign that people are coming out to register as voters. It's a bad sign that we have decided as a country that there are strongholds for A, B, C, and D. That way we lose it. We lose it as a country.
But that's
for
being
us
real.
to see.
That's being real.
It's a fact. It's
Yes.
a fact, smart. But this country must, maybe in the near future, 10, 20 years from now, for people to allow other people to register as voters and decide whom they're going to vote for. But if we run this thing and say this election will be won or lost in the next 8, 7 days, then we're not likely to have an election.
Nene, do you think Kenyans are really interested in politics? They're really engaged, young Kenyans especially. Do they think that this is something that, it's a life and death issue?
Smart, before I came here, I actually was in Kiharu today, and I think, I am sure, I'm certain the numbers will go up because I saw many queues. Every place there is a BVR machine. Because Kenyans have realized that the power is in our hands. And I can tell you in the Jubilee strongholds, we have taken it upon ourselves, especially as aspirants, to do everything within our powers so that we cannot afford, so that we do not take our country to the path we took in 2012, 2013. We want to win convincingly, and that is why we are telling our people, come out in large numbers, register as voters, so that we don't have anyone in this year.
A follow-up question.
Yeah.
So everyone who's registering in Sekiharu constituency is obviously a Jubilee supporter. Is that what you're saying?
I can tell you 100% of people registering as voters in Kiharu will vote for Uhuru Kenyatta as president in 2017 this year.
Danish, so what's the point of going to an election if the whole point of registering, for both, if anyone registers in Bondo today is automatically a Raila Odinga, voter, and anyone registering in, Kiharu is automatically a Uhuru Kenyatta. What's the point of going to an election?
I don't want to simplify this weighty issue and make it look simplistic like my brother wants to make it. I'm reading a book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And it's about how people can be oppressed so much that they're no longer interested in actually talking and in taking active civic duties that they're expected to have. We're in a country where for the last 4 years, all we've been given are words and words and more words. We have seen more music, more dances, and more better PR organized than tangible real-life benefits for the people. The reason why we need to be participating in a democracy is that we can have the bread and the price of bread go down. We want to see our doctors in hospital. We want to see a country that is actually progressing and moving forward. But it's 4 years. It's been 4 years of promises and nothing more. 5 stadiums, nothing has happened. A double-digit growth.
Well,
of
there's
economy,
still 5 months to
nothing has happened.
there's 5 months to build the
And
5
therefore, when you're
stadiums.
telling me that people should be excited when you've lied to them for the last 4 years, you're taking these people for a fool.
Danish, I think you're being a bit harsh because you're 5 months. And governments,
The 5 stadiums can show up in 5 months.
governments can do miracles in 5 months. I mean,
The time for parting Red Seas
Deputy President
ended
was in
with the
Kilifi
Bible
today and said there's a project. There's a project to have water there.
I want to hear Rosalind's thought before we move on.
No, I think it's very sad because look at it, we are talking about 2 million. We said the target was 6 million, or if we did worse of it, it was supposed to be 4 million. And I don't think within the 8 days we are going to be able to reach that target. So for me, I think even the approach was wrong. We didn't do civic education. We didn't ensure people had IDs or passports to enable them to register. And here we are talking about 9.2, which we don't know our people have the IDs.
Rosalind, we already have 13 million registered voters, gentlemen. We can still go to an election with those people, right?
With a population of 40-something million?
A very good representation,
We
yes.
need more. We need more.
Let's continue. It was NASA's first outing last weekend in Bomet, hosted by Governor Isaac Ruto. The NASA team led by Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musoka, Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi are hoping to stick together, giving them a chance to fight Jubilee led by Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. The NASA faithful want to galvanize the country around one candidate. Is this likely to happen? Let's listen to this gentleman down in a moment.
NASA ni Kenya na Wakenya ni NASA. National Super Alliance ndio ambayo italeta ukombozi wa kweli Kenya hii.
Isaac Ruto na Nick Salat na Ngong na Gideon Moi waungane na NASA.
Smart. And the biggest question is, what does this NASA thing stand for? What is this thing?
I should borrow your line. That's way to hear. I think the problem that they have, and we said it before, or this program, that they will have to get out from their comfort zones and go to the ground and galvanize the ground so that if they're looking for that NAC movement, it will happen on the ground. It will not happen in the boardrooms. But I agree that first, the agreement has to be in the boardroom before it's taken out. And I think the problem they have is they are doing the negotiations in front of the public. So we are getting the wrong vibes or the wrong message from NASA.
Rosalind, you're a bit young. In 2002, we were here that time, and there was a movement of sorts. There was a clarion call that Moi had to go before finally we had this thing called National Rainbow Coalition. Okay, but having people step out of boardrooms and starting to tell us something called NASA, and of course you've been seeing Musalia Mudavadi running alone with this thing called NASA, and then suddenly he's back and everyone is embracing it. Are these individuals panicking?
I don't think they're panicking. Yeah, you're saying I was young in 2002, but I think I followed the politics then, and I think I developed politics even when I was young.
On TV, yes.
But I think what you're watching now is these leaders struggling because none of them is ready to sacrifice. I think what we saw in 2002 was whereby we were able to see one person named and endorsed by the others. In this case, we are having democracy, and democracy sometimes doesn't work. Sometimes you need to be authoritative and just say, this is a person we believe can carry the mantle, and the other people will back the person, because all of them, when they talk, they say, all of us want to get the presidency. And we can't have all of them being the president. We can only have one person. So this is the time. Let us get to get the person, and then they hit the road with the candidate. But you cannot hit the road and then you wait and tell people, now we have galvanized the country, now we will unveil our candidate.
Are these gentlemen likely to hit the road without an ideology, just like Jubilee Party?
I think all the winning movements, yes, we can. And all the winning movements had a clear ideology. NASA needs to come out and tell us exactly what they're standing for. In fact, I have a very serious beef with them. Why are we not seeing young people in that organization? Why are we only seeing old faces? People who have been in the political scene for as long as I can remember. I think for NASA to have a stab at the presidency and to become a serious competition, they must first of all sit down and craft exactly what they want to tell Kenyans. What is their value proposition? What do they want to tell Kenyans? Is it because we want to get Jubilee out so that NASA can eat? Or what do we really want from NASA? So with the poverty of ideology they have, I think it's like a wheelbarrow with a broken...
And again, that's the problem we had in 2002.
In fact, that's exactly my
people
point.
came together. They wanted to kick out Moi out of power. Kibaki gets power and realizes, I can't share this. And 2 years later, we had issues.
Looking at the individuals in NASA, it is laughable. This is just a grouping of people with no ideologies, people who are just power hungry. They start for nothing. And therefore, we do not expect NASA to come up with any ideology because they start for none. Therefore, I think Kenyans can see for themselves that we need to support the government because they have a clear way on how we are going to win.
What does this government? What does this government?
Delivering to the people.
What does this government that you stand for and you support?
Yeah.
What has it done for the people?
We have wired all, not even one, 100% of all primary schools in Kenya, public, they have electricity.
Our children are still sitting on the floor.
I think
they don't have books.
Actually, according to the latest statistics, only 65% of Kenya is covered with electricity.
Yes. So where are these schools? Where are these schools needed? And I'm not asking you to speak on behalf of
in
Jubilee.
Kenya, and they can call even the headmasters.
Yes.
They can call all 100% primary schools in Kenya, they have electricity. And it's a matter of priority. You talked about stadiums, you talked about laptops. We could not, of course, give laptops to be powered on solar with no solar panels.
There's a survey saying what Kenyans want at the moment are not laptops, are teachers in schools. Have you come across this?
I don't want to
survey,
answer
unless
him.
it was conducted by
I don't want to
God.
go back.
It was actually conducted by
Dennis,
Ipsos.
this discussion will deny us a chance to discuss meat and
We
veg.
will make time for it. Finally, doctors' strike entered its 65th day today with no end in sight. The KPMG officials have until Monday to negotiate with the government before that jail sentence hanging over their neck is handed down. Today, the doctors told Senate that they were frustrated by tactics employed by the Ministry of Health, who they claim are not interested in a resolution. Let's take a listen.
It is sad that you mistreat doctors to that level. But since doctors have accepted to soften, and actually one part I've read in the petition they have given to the Senate is that they are not sticking to their 300% salary increment. It's written in black and white. This committee will not want to hear doctors in jail.
Right, Roslyn, first go at this.
That was a tough statement from the health chair of the Senate. And he's one of the people who have really been pushing for better health facilities and just better pay for the senators. And I have accompanied him to some of the counties just to do a fact-finding mission to see how the health sector is in some of the counties. And it is so sad that he, being a medical doctor, will appeal to the government to just resolve the doctor's issue, which is over 3 months. Surely a country that is functioning, this is how low we can go. It is so frustrating.
Danish?
It's actually record-breaking that for 65 days our doctors have stayed out of the hospitals and people are dying while the campaign trail is busy and guys are telling us how we need to go and take votes, and 100% in Kiharu will vote for the same regime that has killed our people by keeping doctors out of power. And my heart is crushed in fine powder right now, feeling that many people are actually dying and doctors are out, instead of the government showing a commitment to resolve this thing. My brother, even as you go back to deliver the message, tell them that ordinary people are suffering, they are in pain. If they don't have to understand it because they go to Aga Khan and other good hospitals, for the sake of the Wanjiku, for the sake of the ordinary person in Quisero, let them resolve this.
Danish, that is exactly the same message I'm giving back to you. Speak to those doctors, officials. We know the party they belong to. They are putting Kenyans in a lot of problems. And the government has tried its part, the national government. Danish, the health sector is devolved in
You
Kenya.
can't say that on national TV.
And we have seen the national
fully
government.
devolved.
Can you qualify
We
that?
have seen the national government doing its part.
How do you know their party they belong to? Is that not prejudice? And exactly what brings negative ethnicity in this country?
Because of their second names, maybe? Really?
There is nothing about the
names betray them.
The national government has done a lot.
That's how you know that people in
trying to
Kiaru will vote for the
In
regime.
trying to make the doctors and their union to negotiate with governors, because definitely their salaries comes from the county.
Not all.
this is-
Remember, there are some facilities which are under the national government. Then we will have seen the national government.
That is exactly the reason why I'm saying the national government led by Uhuru Kenyatta are overdoing their work by actually even going to the devolved sectors to deliver services to Kenyans.
I give up.
All right.
It's all right. I give up.
It's how you want to look at things. I mean, sometimes
give up.
Absolutely.
give up.
It's an opinion program. Yes, your opinions are welcome on this program. This is News Sources. We asked you earlier on if you think the war on drugs is politically instigated. Do you think the war on drugs is politically instigated? You've been tweeting and telling us. Dennis, do we have the results?
Do I have smart? No, hold on. Do I have? No. I think we can look at them on the screen at the moment.
All right, the results are on your screen right now. 72% say yes, and 28% think absolutely not. If you think the war on drugs is politically instigated,